Connor's Crazy Countdown, Connor's Crazy Countdown. This is Connor's Crazy Countdown. Right, probably out of focus. Isn't that fantastic? Hello. Hey, welcome to another Connor's Crazy Countdown. Hooray. Recently, I have been in a very big Harry Potter mood. Now, growing up, I was a massive Harry Potter fan. So, as you can see, I've gathered a few things from my past that are quite interesting. Might also take off my magical Harry Potter glasses because they are quite annoying. Right, this is also extremely warm what I'm wearing, and it's also the middle of summer, so I am roasting. I hope you appreciate this. I didn't also spend hours rebuilding my Lego sets of Harry Potter. No, I did not do that. I've had these kept forever. No, I'll be honest, I definitely did. Like, I might bring this up to you so you can see a bit closer, but there's like, this took me a while to do. There's definitely a lot of pieces I'm missing because I don't even know how long ago it was I got this set. Like, must have been around 2010, maybe 11, something like that. Like, for instance, this is McGonagall here. It isn't McGonagall's face, it isn't McGonagall's top. It's still her hat, her cape and her dress, but not her anything else. Harry Potter, my Harry Potter model doesn't have his hair anymore. I don't have Dobby's sock. I don't have Dumbledore's beard. I don't even have Dumbledore's arm. Like, I've got one of his arms, I don't have a hand for him. So, there's a lot of pieces missing. There's also a few pieces of the building, but the majority of the stuff is still here. And I'm quite surprised that most of it's still here. Like, well, I guess I'll show you this. Like, can you see this in detail? So, like I said, there's Dumbledore. You can't see, he doesn't have a beard anymore. There's McGonagall. That isn't McGonagall's face. I hope it goes in focus. That isn't McGonagall's face. That isn't her t-shirt either. Harry is down here without hair. There he is. No hair. He's got the hat there, but no hair. That isn't even his wand. And down at the bottom. Now, I was really surprised with the amount of stuff that I actually found. Like, oh, it's very delicate. Oh. Right, that's a bit better. So, you see this, I can't even, like, angle it right. You see this safe, right? That cover of the safe, I thought I'd lost that forever. That red book, thought I'd lost forever. There's little bits here, thought I'd lost forever. But no, all these specific pieces I found. Even this little safety notch thing. Can you see that? Does that show? There, look at that. And then I've got a smaller set here that has, can you see it? Lucius Malfoy, Dobby. It also, like, Dobby was supposed to have a sock, which I used to have, but I lost it. Obviously, there's a lot of other pieces in this that are, like, that's supposed to be cream, and this is supposed to be green, I think. Definitely a lot of things missing, but the majority of the stuff is still there, so that's quite good. Yeah, in terms of Lego, Harry Potter was like, I loved the Harry Potter sets. I would love to get, like, the massive big castle one day, but that's like an insane ask, and that is never going to happen. And then, right, so move that back. Have I proved my point with this? Like, it's quite, like, it's just, that was a lot of my time spent fixing that, because I had to go find my old Lego and deal with it. And then we've got a couple of games. We've got the Harry Potter Lego 1, or Harry Potter Lego 1, Harry Potter Lego 2. We've got this old Harry Potter Lego game, which I'm sure I showed these before. I also now have these on PlayStation 4, so I am hoping to play them again, because I've done these 100% on PlayStation 3, but obviously I never recorded that, so I think what I'm going to do is get back into these and upload these at some point of me playing them on PlayStation 4. But yeah, I am genuinely in a big Harry Potter mood, and the reason being, I started to read the books. Now, you'll be like, oh, why didn't you read the books before the films? I'm not a big reader, so they didn't really appeal to me, but I was away on holiday and I thought, you know what, I'll just start reading them. I love this book. So this is the Philosopher's Stone. You call it the Sorcerer's Stone in America, but I loved it. And then I've started reading the second one, the Chamber of Secrets. But as you can see, we've got them all here. We've got Chamber of Secrets, we've got Prisoner of Azkaban, Order of the Phoenix, or Goblet of Fire, I always get those two mixed up. Order of the Phoenix. Well, that's the Half-Blood Prince. Where's the Order of the Phoenix? Is that the Order? Goodness sake, the Order's so confusing. And the Deathly Hallows, Part 1 and 2. Do we have every book but not the... I don't think they've got the Order of the Phoenix. Oh no! Oh well. And we've got the Cursed Child as well, which currently is not a Harry Potter film, and I don't really care for it that much. But I've just realised we don't have the Order of the Phoenix. That's... what on earth am I going to do? I will read these, so... But anyways, I guess the whole point of this video for this Connor's Crazy Countdown is the movies. Now, I grew up with the movies, so they hold a dear place in my heart. Like, I grew up with Harry Potter. Like, Harry Potter is like... well, Daniel Radcliffe is about the same age as me. So when he was in... or I think he might be slightly older, but when he started his school journey, like, I was more or less starting my school journey, as it were. Well, there's definitely... the dates are all wrong, because I think the first film came out in 2002, I think it was. It was either 2001 or 2002, and at that time, I was in primary school yeah, so he's much older, actually. So I was in primary 2. I actually have an old diary that I wrote when I was in school. Like, it was the thing we did. It was our classwork, which I might show you here, of my story of going and seeing Harry Potter in the Chamber and the Philosopher's Stone in the cinema, and I drew a picture of Harry Potter with a witch or something. It was... the fact that I have that history is quite amusing. But I've got all 8 films. Yeah, 8 films. All 8 films. Obviously, The Cursed Child is not an existing film of any sort. But I guess we'll get to rating them. So, like I said, I grew up with Harry Potter. Harry Potter, it was like... I grew up with Harry Potter. I grew up with, like, the likes of... Pirates of the Caribbean. These were like my set films. I was, like... the newer Star Wars films, I kind of grew up with them. I didn't grow up with the older ones. So these are my childhood movies. I hold so many dear memories with these films. But let's get to ratings. So our first film is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So this is also Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in America. Why it's a different name, I don't have a clue. There's probably a reason for it. What I'll say about reading the books after watching the movies is, I read this book and I could literally, like, see all the pictures. Like, I could envision, like, Harry, like, Hagrid meeting Harry on the island, charging through the door. I can envision that, like, I can see it because I've seen the movie first. I think there's benefits to reading the book first, because then you're using your imagination, and there's also benefits to reading it after you've seen the film, because it's like you're watching the film but you're reading it or something. It was a lot of fun. I think also, like, I'd say there's definitely a couple things they miss from the book that they do in the movie. I don't know that about all the books. I'm assuming it's kind of the same sort of thing, but I feel there was like a bit where Harry had to send a message to Charlie about Hagrid's dragon. So they went up to, like, the Owlry and they sent that. I don't remember that happening in the film. That whole bit was, like, cut out. And then there was also a bit where they go into I'm terrible with the names right now, the Forbidden Forest. So in the movie, it's Draco Malfoy, Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron. as well as Hagrid and what the heck's the dog called? And the three-headed dog's called Fluffy, but what the heck is the other dog called? I can't remember it now. Fang. They go into the Forbidden Forest, and then Harry goes with Draco, Ron goes with Hermione and Hagrid, and Draco and Harry take the dog. Now in the book, Neville is also there, and to start with, Draco goes with Neville and the dog, and there's just like, it's a lot that is cut out, like in the movie, like none of that happens because Neville's not there. It's just kind of straight. I mean, that part does seem kind of pointless anyways, because Harry then ends up with Draco and Neville ends up with Hagrid and whatever else. So it does seem sort of pointless. I love these films though. They're very comfortable to watch. Well, sort of. The first two films obviously have Richard Harris as Dumbledore, and he definitely, it was like, there's a lot of comparisons people make where the first two films are like bright and colourful and the other ones are dark, and I think Richard Harris did a good job of portraying Dumbledore at that time, because he was kind, he was nice. Then Michael Gambon came in and gave him a more nice but firm aura about him. But this film, like, obviously starts off everything. So in this, Harry learns he was always a wizard. He talks to Nagini in the zoo. I know if I'm spoiling this, the films are way over 20 years old, if not more. There's also he learns to fly and play Quidditch. He's introduced to the Weasleys, and obviously Hermione as well. There's the whole thing of Neville losing his toad. There's a load of things that happen, but like, there's also like, I think there's different cast as well. So obviously we have Richard Harris, but the only reason he wasn't Dumbledore for the rest of them was because he sadly passed away. But I think the fat lady who is in the portrait of the Hogwarts house, the Hogwarts thing, I think that was a different actress. I'm not sure if she had passed away. There's also a fact that you've probably known Farewell as well. The actor who played Draco Malfoy, I literally can't remember what his name is right now, but his grandfather was a wizard in this, so his grandfather wasn't in any other film, I don't believe. There was also the Gringotts guys. One of them was played by Vern Troyer. I think that was the one that showed everybody around. And then there was Warwick Davis as well, but I think they sort of switched it around a bit. I think Warwick then played that one. I think, I might be wrong. Obviously over time we've lost like a load of cats. So we've lost Richard Harris, we've lost Alan Rickman, we've recently lost Robbie Coltrane and Michael Gambon. It's just historic, these films and these books. They had a great cast, and it's sad the amount of people we've lost because of it. Oh, John Hurt as well. John Hurt, who gave Harry his wand. And if I think about it, surely I can remember what he says as well. It's like, oh, it's interesting you should be connected to this wand when its brother or his sister gave you that scar. He says something like that.
Curious. Very curious.
Sorry, but what's curious?
I remember every wand I've ever sold, Mr. Potter. It so happens that the phoenix, whose tail feather resides in your wand, gave another feather. Just one other. It is curious that you should be destined for this wand when its brother gave you that scar.
Obviously we also lost Vern Troyer. But yeah. So where would I put the first film? I feel tempted to put all of them in the top category, but I think I'll put this maybe in the second, maybe even third category, because it started everything, but in terms of what happened in it, as well, they replaced the actor of Voldemort. So eventually it became Ralph Fiennes, but to begin with it was someone else. Can't remember his name. He was also on the back of Quirrell's head. The person who played Quirrell did quite a good job as well. From like when I read this book, spot on. Like it felt a bit, but again, I do feel like the other films were more interesting. Like when I always think of this film, there are interesting points, like Ron playing full-sized wizard chess, the bit with the keys, the Fluffy, loads of things. There's loads of interesting parts, but I don't think I can put this top, so I'm putting it in the third category from the top. But yeah. Now, the next film, as you can see I got this from my old favourite place. The next film, Chamber of Secrets. So, like I said, I've currently started reading Chamber of Secrets, but I haven't got around to finishing it. This one, I feel, was a lot more exciting than the first film. So we've already got past the part of Harry's a wizard and he's learnt everything. Now he knows what he can do. He's now starting to experiment with that, and he's now getting in different situations. And there's so many, and in this film we're introduced to Dobby as well, which was a great addition. I actually still feel I would put this one quite highly because, like, the reason this used to be like my favourite one was because when I was younger I found it hilarious. The reason why I found it hilarious was the bit where, I can't remember anybody's name, Gilderoy, is that his name? Gilderoy Lockhart, I think that's something like that, when he lost his memory and he's sat in the bit under the toilets and he's like, do you live here, to Ron? And Ron's like, no, and just smacks him in the head with a rock. I found that hysterical when I was younger. I know that doesn't sound that funny, but when you're younger and you see that, it's quite funny.
Hello. Who are you?
Ron Weasley.
Really? And, who am I?
Lockhart's memory charm backfired. He hasn't got a clue who he is.
It's an odd sort of place, this, isn't it? Do you live here?
No.
Really?
There's also so many scenarios in this that are much different. Like, we've got the Weeping Willow acting insane. We've got, or is it the Whomping Willow? Maybe I'm getting that mixed up. I think it's the Whomping Willow, right? And the portal to Hogwarts has been shut, so Ron and Harry have to use their flying car, and that is just really exciting. Them flying in the car, getting met by the train, and the whole thing of it is Dobby's behind all this, because it turns out Dobby works with Malfoy in that, but obviously in the end everything works out. It's just, I think this is definitely one of the earliest, most exciting ones. I'll put this in the second category, because I would have put it in the first category. I don't know. There's so many other things that happen in it too that are just so exciting. And this Lego set, most of these are from like the Chamber of Secrets. Like obviously this one has Lucius Malfoy, who we didn't meet in the first film, so we met him in this film. So again, what a great actor, what a great portrayal of him. It's just so interesting. We obviously meet Dobby. This I'll put in the second category. I'm making a stand, second category. Right. Now, what does I say about the third film? So the third film is The Prisoner of Azkaban. I think this is maybe one of the more underrated ones. I don't think it's the best by any means. I don't think it's it's not overly amazing by any means, but there's a lot of this is when Harry Potter became completely different. So it's like these two were relatively friendly and funny, and say obviously you have the whole thing of Harry Potter's parents have been killed by the guy that must not be named, but at the end of it there's a lot more comedy and friendliness about it. This is when things get really dark. I believe this is the film that I remember going to the cinema and being terrified. When they are on the train and you have the Death Eaters going, that is terrifying. Absolutely, still to this day, that is terrifying.
Nothing. Someone's coming aboard. Bloody hell! What's happening?
But that makes it good. That makes it a really exciting, interesting film. But there's a lot of things about, like, the actor who played Sirius Black in this was different. I'm kind of glad they replaced him because I didn't really like him as much in this. We also got the other dark arts teacher. His name begins with an R, and I literally cannot remember what his name is. Why can I not remember? We're also introduced to Vernon Dudley's sister. Dudley? Is it Dudley? I'm terrible for the names, but we're introduced to the sister who blows up, basically. She inflates and becomes a balloon, more or less, which is quite funny. And then we've got Buckbeak, I think it's Buckbeak, who is Hagrid's flying thing. That was the other thing about this film, was the time travel. Hermione introduced her time travel, and that was really exciting because there was a situation where Buckbeak was going to be killed, but the three of them were able to save him, and that was really intense and exciting. And I think I might be wrong, but this might be the film where Patronuses were introduced. So again, there was the really exciting bit where it's down at the lake, there's all these Death Eaters flying around, and then you see this, this is this one, you see this Patronus of a deer, and Harry believes it's his dad, and obviously it turns out it's not his dad, but because of the time travel, it makes sense. I genuinely, these films are just so interesting. The books, again, are also interesting. I think, minus the effects in this film, I feel like the effects weren't that good, and some of the cast were a bit odd. I do think it's a really good film, and I'll put it in the second category. And it is Buckbeak. Yeah, I was right, Buckbeak. Dementors, Death Eaters, Dementors, are they the same thing? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's... I think Death Eaters is specific people, whereas Dementors are the hooded thing that isn't anything. I'm really sorry, I will admit now, I'm a Harry Potter fan, I'm not a mega fan. I don't know every single detail about every single thing. I can't tell you every single spell that's ever been made, like Lumus, Ridiculous, Expecto Patronum, it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. But that, again with this film, that spell, Expecto Patronum, just having Harry, that moment in the film is, and you have to also give praise to Hello, future Connor here. I did make a big mistake when recording this. I said that the music in Harry Potter is by Hans Zimmer. It is not, it's by John Williams. That was a big mistake. I made this mistake because I was just rushing through it. There's probably a couple of other mistakes I made when doing this, but yep, and back to the video. Hans Zimmer, his music in these films is just outstanding. But the moment where Harry realises the Patronus was not his dad but it was himself, and he's just stood at the lake watching himself get killed by these Dementors, and he's just like, and then he just goes for it and he goes, "Expecto Patronum!" and then whoosh, the flash of light. It's just so exciting.
Both of you.
Harry! Expecto Patronum!
These two films, safe, fun, whatever. These films, exciting. They are just the start of an amazing adventure. So I'll put that in the second category. Now, I feel like a lot of these films, they do have a lot of flaws. Like I will admit that. I feel like this era of Harry Potter is flawed, very, very flawed, but they also have some of the best stories. I think this is maybe the weirdest film out of the bunch, at least for me. So this is The Goblet of Fire. Now in this, Harry Potter is part of the, what's it called, Hogwarts Games? What are they called? When Harry's name, competitor in a grueling battle for glory among free wizarding schools, the Tri-Wizard Tournament, that's it. So yeah, I find this a little bit strange because you've got all these other schools, like these schools that have like existed this whole time but we've never talked about them until now or something. It's kind of strange. And then you've got a whole bunch of very strange older people, and it's just like a lot of just strange. But yes, I think to begin with as well, they were watching like a Quidditch match. So, and they had a torquay, the shoe that they grabbed, and then they teleported to whatever else. I think did they get to Hogwarts this time by fireplace or something? I don't know. I feel I really need to watch these films again because just lack of information right now. Anyways, the thing that stands out to me about this film, besides Daniel Radcliffe's hair that's very different to him in the rest of the films, is the fact that in the book, right, everybody's made this comparison before, so in the book, which I don't know this yet because I'm not good, but I've heard it before, Dumbledore whispers to Harry, "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" But in the film, I don't know why Michael Gambon read it as "shout at Harry," but it's very funny and everybody imitates it. It's like, Harry Potter, you put your name in the Goblet of Fire. Like, it's just, and he runs over to him. It's just stupid.
Everything is a conspiracy theory. I protest. Harry. I protest.
Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
No, sir.
You asked one of the oldest students to do it for you?
No, sir.
You're absolutely sure?
Yes, sir.
They're really stupid. I think there's also the really irritating reporter in this film as well. I can't remember what her name is. But as well, Harry was young at this, so the fact his name was in the cup in the first place, everybody was like, oh, why he shouldn't be allowed to do this. But I mean, you also have to bear in mind, he was like one of the youngest Seekers as well in the first film. So everything he does, he is the chosen one after all. Like, I will be honest, if you take away everything that happened to Harry and he was just a normal kid that went to this school, he would get no attention. there would be nothing about him that's special. It's the whole fact his parents were killed by the chosen one. Not the chosen one, the one that must not be named. Like, it's like, imagine Harry Potter without any of that. Oh, I'm Harry Potter, and great. And everybody's like, great, you're Harry Potter. Move on. Yeah. So where would I put this? I'll put this below Chamber of Secrets. So third category, like at the bottom of that. There was a lot of. I feel like in this film, I feel like Neville was utilised a lot more. Like, we really got to get to know Neville a bit more. There was a lot more interest to him. And then you had the whole thing with Gillyweed, I think it was, and the whole part with him swimming, and he had to save either Hermione or Ron, because at this time Hermione was dating Victor Crumb, which again is just, there's a whole lot of just strange, odd couplings and whatever. I mean, I don't know, it's just odd. Because yeah, we had the Yule Ball in this one, and we had Ron and Harry were dating two twins. I can't remember what their name was again. Was Chow in this? Chow, is that her name? Chow? I think she might have been in this too. I don't know when does can't remember their names. This is dreadful. When did the blonde girl come, and why can I not remember her name? She might have been the film after this. But yeah, this again, it's alright film, but yeah. Okay. Order of Phoenix. Here we are. Now, this is when things start to really get dark. So, this, I think, this is, oh yeah, I completely missed the whole point of this film. I'm sorry. Right, we had the whole cup, and then we had Cedric Diggory. Right, he literally died in this, and you know why he died? Because of Voldemort. Right, we finally get to see Voldemort, and what an introduction! And they had the whole thing with Wormtail as well. Wormtail turned out to be Peter Pettigrew. Yeah, like, this is going higher than Chamber of Secrets. This is much better. This has all that with Voldemort. Our first introduction to Voldemort. Like, well, obviously we had him in the first film, but I mean, our first, like, full look at him. Oh, no, and again, that was horrifying. That was, like, terrifying, but awesome. So this is going higher. This is going in the second category at the bottom. I'm sorry about that. I completely missed that out, because now this is, I think this one might be one of the darker ones. One of the, well, obviously that was dark. We lost Cedric Diggory, but this one is heart-wrenching. So again, I can't really remember too much about the school side of things, like Order of the Phoenix. I know how it ends, but I can't really remember. Was this the one that? I think this might be the one. Yes, Dolores Umbridge. Right, this one is a great film. So everybody hates Dolores Umbridge. If you're a Harry Potter fan in any way, you more or less hate Dolores Umbridge. The actress, though, deserves praise. Like, she did an amazing job in The Crown, and she obviously did an amazing job of making a character you absolutely hate. But her whole take on the dark arts made it completely different, and she had her office all pink with the plates with cats on it. I do really like this film. It just took me a minute to remember it, because you can't really tell a whole lot from the cover or anything. With this, well, I have to talk about the one main thing, and also, I don't know if she was, no, I don't think she was introduced in this film. I think she was introduced in the last one. We have Helena Bonham Carter's character, Bellatrix Lestrange. Yeah, she was introduced either this film or the last film. I think, yeah, it must have been the last film. And she was terrifying, hilarious, and terrifying. She's also like Draco Malfoy's aunt, I think it is, or no, is she? There's a weird connection. She's the cousin of Sirius Black, and Sirius Black is Harry Potter's godfather. Something like that. She was horrifying though, very well played by Helena Bonham Carter, But she obviously does the unthinkable and kills a really big character. So we lose Sirius Black in this, and he was now portrayed by. Why can I not remember his name? Why can I not remember his name? He was played by Tom. I can't think right now, but he was the guy in The Dark Knight. He was Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. It's not. Who the heck is his name? Well, he was played by him anyways, and it was so devastating to watch him get killed. And then Dumbledore came and saved the day again. It was just an exciting thing. And yeah, we do have the blonde girl. Wow, this is dreadful, but I do not know people's names. Another character I haven't mentioned yet is Moody. Not Moody. Well, Mad-Eye Moody must have been in this, but I'm talking about. What's her name? What? Moaning Myrtle.
Who?
Moaning Myrtle.
Who's Moaning Myrtle?
I'm Moaning Myrtle. I wouldn't expect you to know me. Who would ever talk about ugly, miserable, moping, moaning Myrtle?
She was a great extra character as well. Like, she brought a lot of funniness to it. Because the last film, that was another thing. Like, we cannot sing above the ground, and so Harry had to have his ball underneath the water, and it was interesting. Where would I put this one? Because of what happens, it's really sad. And Dolores Umbridge, for that reason, I think this is number 2 again. I don't think I have actually got any in the top category, and I don't really know why. I don't know. I'm finding it really hard to rate these because I love them all. There's specific parts in specific films that I enjoy more than others in other films. I am actually struggling to rate these. Okay, now this one might take first place. This might be up the top. The next film is Half-Blood Prince. There is a lot that happens in this one. So we do lose another big character. We lose Dumbledore. And the reason being why we lost Dumbledore was because of a certain character, Snape, who this whole time we thought was against us, but actually he was protecting us. So there's a lot to unpack in this one. Obviously, again, we've got Voldemort is around. We've got other one, and I think this is the one where Dumbledore like sacrifices it. He goes. There's this whole horrifying bit where he has to drink water, and it's supposed to be like a serious bit. But I remember seeing this in the cinema and a lot of people laughing because Michael Gambon makes an incredibly strange face. It's like no more, no more.
It's my fault.
Just one more, sir. One more, and then I promise I'll do what you say. I promise. Please.
So it's quite like funny, but obviously it's sad. I think I would put this up the top. I do really like finding out about Snape and everything else that happens. Horace Slughorn. Oh, and the guy that becomes a couch as well, a seat. Yeah, I'm looking at the ratings of these films. So they're 12. Like, this is horrifying. These are like horrifying films, but they're rated 12. That's crazy. So that one's going up the top. I'm rating these really badly. And now we've got the last 2 films. So this is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. We kind of go away from Hogwarts in these films. There's not too much like focus on that. This is more like based in London. We also lose another character. We actually lose Hedwig as well, I think, in this one. We lose Dobby, we lose Hedwig, we lose a lot of. I'm kind of, like, these are kind of tied. They're the same film. They're just in 2 parts. So, well, the same film. We do lose Fred in one. I think it's Fred. If I've got that wrong, I'm really sorry. It's either Fred or George. We lost the old dark arts teacher who was a werewolf. Literally can't remember. Rubus. Is it Rubus? Something. But yeah, the first one, the part 1, this one's kind of, I don't know how to put it, like, this one compared to the second half is not as good, I'd say, but it is good, because it's more London based, and then it just basically has, like, Harry, Ron and Hermione for most of the film just travelling around hunting Horcruxes, which is interesting. Oh, it was Tom Felton who was Draco Malfoy, so that took me a while. This is probably going up the top, as is the last one. That's me rated them all. I can't, like, it's hard to talk about things you've grown up with, like, that meant so much to you. People say, like, oh, we don't like Daniel Radcliffe, or we don't like Emma Watson, we don't like this, like, fair enough. Like, at the time, I was young and I didn't see anything wrong with them. To me, they were just like classmates of mine. They were just like, I'm growing up with these people too. It's such an interesting watch. There's a lot of things about Harry Potter that is definitely all over the place, and I mean even more so now, and I'm not going into details about them because who actually knows what that's all about. But in terms of a film series and a book series, I think this might be up there with one of the best. Like, I enjoyed these films thoroughly. I've watched them a ton of times, yet I can't remember anything about them. No, I've watched them a ton of times and I remember most of the stuff about them. I remember iconic scenes and iconic characters like Dolores Umbridge, like Voldemort, like Dumbledore, like Draco Malfoy, etc. There is definitely a lot that there could have been done better, and there's definitely a lot that were just like, why on earth is that happening, or why on earth, like, I mean, there's a whole scene in one of the films, I can't remember which one it is, that has Ron looking at Harry and Hermione naked, basically, kissing, and I mean, that is just beyond bizarre. Like, where in the world did it, I mean, the point is that it's like he's jealous of Harry and Hermione together, but why on earth are they naked? Was there any need for that? It's just strange. There's a ton of questionable things, but the cast, I do have to mention the cast. It's some of the best British actors there are out there. We've got Maggie Smith, we've got Michael Gambon, Alan Rickman, Robbie Coltrane. The list goes on. Like, we've got a ton of great actors, and it is so sad the majority of them are now no longer with us. But at least we do get to keep them in this form. We get to have the memories of them in this form and always witness this. But it is somewhat like they are now really gone. Like in the film, so we lost Sirius Black. No, we lost, not Sirius Black, we lost, what is his name? Sirius Snape, right? We lost him, we lost Dumbledore, we didn't lose Hagrid actually, but we lost the two of them, and now they are actually gone. Like, they are definitely gone now, which is sad. As for the kid actors, Emma Watson has obviously gone on to other things. The less said about some of those, because most of them are dreadful. But her acting as Hermione, perfect. Like, I can see the connection of her in this to that. A lot of people can't, but I can. It's a great portrayal of her, I feel. And then we've got Ron, who again, great portrayal. He went on to a couple of different things. I think he's in a TV series, or he was in a TV series. He obviously was in Lego House, I think it was, with Ed Sheeran. One thing I do remember him from when he was younger was Thunderpants. I get, like, Thunderpants also has, I think it might have two more Harry Potter actors in it, because it's also got the guy that played Goyle. It's also got him in it, so it's quite amusing that two of them are in that. We've got Draco Malfoy, went on to a few acting roles here and there. He was in Planet of the Apes, well, Tom Felton him in. And then of course we've got Daniel Radcliffe, who definitely probably is coming more to his element now. But I'm not entirely the biggest fan of any of his. I'm not actually the biggest fan of like any of their films outside of Harry Potter. Like, obviously you have the likes of Alan Rickman, who's been famous for tons of things. You've got Die Hard, you've got that's it, I can't name anymore. No, I mean, you've got Die Hard, you've got The Holiday, or is it The Holiday or is it The Christmas something? But they had a ton of things. Michael Gambon's been in it. Also got Maggie Smith in Downton Abbey and a load of other things. But yeah, these films definitely hold a great place in my heart, and even rating them feels kind of bad. Like, if I could say, I would actually put them all up the top. Like, if I wasn't being as honest as like there's a couple of flaws here and there, I would put them all up the top. I love these films. And they're like, the majority of people are just like, oh, we'll just have a week of watching Harry Potter, or we'll just have a few days of watching Harry Potter. It's just like, they just are such comfort films. And even if you know what's going to happen, you still enjoy watching them every single time. Like, I mean, obviously I've proven I don't know that much about the films, but if I look at one of these covers, like, no, well, not one of these covers, but Prisoner of Azkaban, no, not Prisoner, Philosopher's Stone, I do know the whole premise. It's like, it starts in Privet Drive with Dumbledore and McGonagall. They drop Harry off. Then we cut to the Dursleys, who hide everything from Harry. They end up at the zoo. He starts speaking to the snake, and he's like, how did I do that? And then eventually Harry gets letters. Like, I know the whole premise of the film. Like, I know everything that happens, but it's still so exciting to watch. It's such a great watch. And there's definitely like a lot of scenes as well in these films that make you cry. Like, watching the death of Dumbledore, or watching the death of Sirius Black, watching the death of, well, Cedric Diggory in some ways. Like, these things. And I completely messed up with the Chamber of Secrets as well. There's the whole bit with Ginny and in the chamber and talking to Tom Riddle. That whole bit as well is super exciting. I completely missed that out. How could I completely miss that out? There's a lot I've missed out about these things. They are just like, wow. There's so many interesting things that happen here. And like, when I was reading this book as well, like, because I remembered like the film, it was emotional. Like, the whole bit where it's like Ron says to Hermione, or says in general, it's no wonder she has no friends. Then Hermione goes off crying to the bathroom. And then at that point, we have Quirrell run in and say, there's a troll in the dungeon. And then Harry and Ron are like, she doesn't know. And then everything just changes at that point. The three of them become the closest friends. It's just that. It's so sweet. It's so emotional. I'm glad that happened, but it just makes you think. Like, there's lots of situations where it's like somebody ends up being your closest friend, but to begin with, you hate them. Like, you don't see eye to eye at all, and then just it takes that one thing to make people realize you're actually perfect friends. Like, it's really sweet, and just watching them grow up together is just so nice. And obviously, there's tons of quotes from it. Like, people, like I said before, with the Dumbledore thing, like, did you put your name in that goblet of fire? Or Expecto Patronum, or it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. There's loads of things. Can I think of anything else off the top of my head? Like, it's Harry Potter. No, I can't really think of anything. Lamp, please. I mean, that's a great quote. Yes. Can you guess what film that's from? Lamp, please. But yeah, I will probably get back to playing these games soon on PS4, and that'll be the next LEGO series installment. My rating is very skewed because I actually really love all the films. I try my best with the costume. I know it's stupid. The books are good. LEGO set's good. Harry Potter in general is good. I did used to have like a model of Harry Potter, but I have no idea what happened to him. But I guess that'll be all. My rating to yours is probably completely different. Even now that I think about my rating to my own rating is completely different. Like, probably one of these needs to go down the bottom. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And what's a good way of saying goodbye in Harry Potter terms? What's that? Afala Gadabra.